Gender inequality doesn't make sense on any level. By marginalizing the rights of women, we deny ourselves the opportunity to lift millions of men, women and children out of poverty, not to mention the chance of a just and fair world. From birth, girls and boys, women and men are expected by society to play certain roles and behave in certain ways based on traditions, religion, and other beliefs. These behaviors are learned and shape the gender norms in a society. Unfortunately, in many countries, gender norms create disadvantages for women. Often, girls are not sent to school. When they become women, they then have limited ability to earn money or realize their potential. Rural women play a major role in agricultural development. However, in many developing countries, women cannot formally own land. Without land, they cannot get loans to invest in their farms or businesses. This also means they have no control over the use of land or the benefits that come from it. Men generally control the household decisions, like how to use the family's assets. These disadvantages are often reinforced by practices that limit women's access to services, like training. Cultural beliefs can also restrict women's opportunities, such as in parts of Zambia where women cannot paddle their boats as it is considered bad omen. The result of these issues? Women remain poor and agricultural production cannot reach its potential, perpetuating poverty and hunger in the developing world. The social norms that limit women's opportunities need to be understood and then changed. By taking a gender transformative approach, we can influence social norms and bridge the gaps in access to resources and services between men and women in a lasting manner. Change is needed on many levels, and both men and women must be involved for it to happen. Research and development organizations need to invest in programs that promote gender equality alongside improving productivity and incomes. Policies need to be implemented that increase women's access to services and resources. Communities need to support women as farmers and as leaders. Increasing women's voice and agency is a valuable end in its own right. When development organizations, policies, and communities support the success of women, we have a chance to reduce extreme poverty and boost shared prosperity for girls and boys, women and men around the world.
So the age-old fight about whether or not women earn less than men is one of President Obama's pet platforms in the campaign. Watch this.
Son of a single mom, proud father of 2 daughters, President Obama knows that women being paid 77 cents on the dollar for doing the same work as men isn't just unfair, it hurts families. So the first law he signed was the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act to help ensure that women are paid the same as men for doing the exact same work. Because President Obama knows that fairness for women means a stronger middle class for America.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Well, our own government says it is not quite as simple as that. We've crunched the numbers and found that some of it is because women often work fewer hours or have been with the same employer for a shorter period of time. How big of a problem is this? With me now to debate it is Democratic strategist Marianne Marsh and Deneen Borelli, Fox News contributor and author of Backlash. Ladies, thank you to both of you for joining us. We have seen this debate rage on over time, and as you break down the numbers and as I watch these ads, it strikes me that in a lot of cases, women have taken time off from work, as we said, not been with an employer as long, or have chosen jobs so that they can work fewer hours and be perhaps a primary care provider at home. Not that that's fair, not that that makes any better, but it does have a lot to do. It's not exactly like they're both doctors working in the same spot and the woman is making, 70 cents on the dollar. Marianne, how do you respond to that?
Actually, that's not true. Even when you control for all those factors and you control for geography, like you did in the last segment about where you live, your education, not just what kind of education, but what school, all those factors, women always make less. And in most cases, it's 77 cents on the dollar. I don't know one woman who at some point in their career hasn't confronted the horrible reality that their male colleague in the same job was making more money than they are. And oh, by the way, when you add to it the fact that only of all the Fortune 500 companies, there are only 19 women CEOs, 6 in the top 100, 0 in the top 10. When it doesn't happen at the top, it certainly doesn't happen in the middle or the bottom. Every woman knows they never make as much as the guy next to them.
Deneen, what do you think about that? Because, you know, anytime you make the CEO argument, I always feel like it sort of falls apart, because what it takes to become the CEO of a company is this relentless pursuit up to the top. And, you know, a lot of people like myself have stopped to have children, have worked fewer hours at different points in time because you want to be home more. You know, I think it may or may not be right, but there are reasons why there are more men who become CEOs. Or do you disagree?
You're right. There are different reasons why people make different choices based on their needs in life. But, you know, I don't believe government should be involved in setting the standard for what salaries should be. Salaries should be based on the market and competition, not based on government. And this ad is very misleading because it's changing the data to fit their own debate for Obama. He's playing the woman card. First he played it with health care, now he's playing it with salaries. In this case, this ad is very misleading because it's not comparing jobs apples to apples when it comes to men and women.
You want to respond to that, Marianne?
Yeah, look, you look at the facts and you look at the census data, it absolutely does it. And here's why it matters. When women make less, at some point in their life, they have to support themselves, okay? Either because they're single by choice, divorce, or their spouse dies. So they're unable to support themselves and their loved ones better. The less you make every year, the less in retirement, the less in Social Security benefits, all of it compounds in the negative.
We even had a census official who said that they don't even have the data, the means to make this comparison. This is why this ad is very misleading. It is misleading the American people.
Wait. I slow you both down for 1 second because, you know, everybody can kind of find data to prove what they want. I mean, that's one thing we sort of see along the way. What is the benefit of having this sort of conversation? I mean, Marianne, what do you think is positive that would come out of this other than, you know, once again, sort of pitting one group of people against another?
Well, we're supposed to value work in this country, and that means you need to value everybody's work. Whether you're a man or a woman, you do the same job, you should get paid the same amount of money. That's what this country was founded on. Unfortunately, that is not the reality out there. Far too many women make less than their male counterparts. So if we talk about work and we talk about the great economic engine that is the United States of America, every participant in the economy should be valued for who they are and the job they do, not because they happen to be a woman or a man.
Job descriptions are not based on gender. I used to work in HR. You have the duties that are laid out, the responsibilities, and what experiences you need to bring to the table. Government should not be setting the standards when it comes to the pay for men or women. It should be market driven. And this ad is very misleading because it's telling the wrong story to the American people.
Okay, ladies.
It should always be fair.
Thanks to both of you guys for coming on and debating that. We appreciate it. It's an important point.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to just give you some actions to do. And just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My hair. Oh my God.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aww. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swing like a girl?
Keep doing it, because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl and I swim like a girl and I walk like a girl and I wake up in the morning like a girl because I am a girl. And that is not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do.
If I asked you to run like a girl now, would you do it differently?
I would run like myself.
Would you like a chance to redo it?
Yeah.
Why can't run like a girl also mean win the race?
Let's face it, you're biased. But don't get defensive. We're built to be biased. Does your brain think these squares are different shades of gray? Think again. Your brain took this shadow into account and made assumptions that this square was darker, based on the checkerboard pattern. This natural tendency gives us shortcuts to make sense of our world. The trouble is, these shortcuts, when applied to people, can result in bias. So, how do we avoid unconscious bias to build a better society? Behavioral design offers a new solution to collapse gender inequality in our lifetime. What if we could make it easier for our biased minds to get things right by changing our organizations? For example, in the 1970s, major US orchestras made an ingenious discovery. Adding a simple curtain to the audition process allowed them to listen to the music rather than judge musicians based on their looks. Not only did they acquire better talent, but the fraction of female musicians grew by more than 30 percentage points. Simple solutions like this can also debias our workplace. Simply removing the names on resumes gets a lot of the bias out of the way and allows access to the full talent pool of candidates. And here's some low-hanging fruit. Research has shown comparing candidates to each other, rather than the imaginary stereotypical applicant, calibrates our minds to the best, rather than those who we think look the part. Behavioral designs like these have doubled the fraction of women on the boards of the UK's largest companies in a very short amount of time. Seeing women in leadership, whether in business or politics, changes what people think is possible for their daughters and themselves. In 1993, India mandated 1/3 of seats be reserved for women to serve as elected leaders at the local level. This not only offered new insights into public policy, but also encouraged women to speak up in community meetings. And seeing women work made it more likely for girls in the community to stay in school, marry later, and delay having their first child. Kind of gives weight to the phrase, seeing is believing. Many organizations, including Harvard, have taken this to heart by hanging up more portraits of female role models. Here's what you can do today. Try changing who we look up to on our walls. So, yes, it's time to face it. We're biased, but we can design around it. We have the research and tools to cheaply and quickly redesign how we work, learn, and live. It's not only the right thing, it's the smart thing to do. And now it's up to you.